The last time Silas spoke to his sister, she was breathless, whispering from a burning forest with words that should not have reached him across a continent. "Don't trust the mirrors. They lie." Then the line went dead, and so did she, at least according to the authorities. Silas Lockwood never believed in ghosts, or magic, or the kind of things people whispered about Elwyn Forest, the ancient sprawl of trees that swallowed his sister whole. But when he received her call 3 days after she was declared dead, he started to reconsider. The phone had rung once at midnight. Caller ID, unknown. But Silas recognized her voice instantly, hoarse, afraid, and utterly impossible. "Silas, please listen. The mirrors. They show you what you want to see, but not what's there. Don't come looking for me. Please." And then nothing. A static buzz. A crackle of something unnatural. Not silence, but absence. That was the night he began dreaming of the forest. Elwyn was older than any town nearby, older than the roads that cut around it like scars. People said the trees whispered if you listened long enough. Some said you could hear your own voice answering from behind you. Silas hadn't been there in 10 years, not since their parents' funeral, but his sister Anya had never left. She became a researcher, obsessed with the myths surrounding the forest. She said the trees had memory, that the forest was alive. Everyone thought she'd gone mad. So when she vanished after a forest fire, no one questioned it. Just a tragic accident. Another casualty swallowed by Elwyn. But Silas couldn't accept that. Not after the call. Not after what he'd started seeing in mirrors. It began with reflections that didn't match. A blink delayed. A frown instead of a neutral stare. Once he turned to leave the bathroom, and his reflection smiled. So he did what any grieving, half-crazed brother would do. He went back to Elwyn. The forest greeted him like a closed mouth, silent, unmoving, waiting. The roads that once led to the research station were now overgrown, but the place hadn't burned to the ground like the news said. It was still there, partly charred, but intact. And inside were her notes, Project Echo, Elwyn's cognitive hallucination observations. She had been studying the forest's ability to induce hallucinations, particularly auditory and visual. Her notes were messy toward the end, scattered thoughts, diagrams of mirrored mazes, a phrase repeated again and again. "The forest remembers what you forget." Silas didn't know what it meant until he found the mirror house. It wasn't on any map, and Anya had only mentioned it once in her notes. But the structure, half buried in ivy, warped and cracked, stood at the heart of the forest like a rotting heart. It was made of glass. Dozens of antique mirrors arranged in a dome, some broken, some intact. No doors, just an opening, like a wound. He stepped inside, and he saw himself. But not just himself now. Him as a child, running through Elwyn. Him holding Anya's hand, her face twisted in fear. Him, older, staring back from a reflection with bloodshot eyes and something cruel in his smile. The mirrors didn't reflect. They remembered. Each pane of glass was a memory. His, Anya's, others. And the longer he stayed, the more he lost grip on what was real. Then, one mirror showed her, Anya, alive. She stood inside the mirror, pressing her hand against the glass, mouthing words he couldn't hear. Behind her, the forest burned, but she did not burn with it. Silas reached out. Their palms met. Cold lightning shot through him. The mirror cracked, and she screamed. He woke hours later on the forest floor. The mirror house was gone, but a shard remained in his hand, embedded, bleeding. Over the following days, the world shifted. Mirrors no longer reflected the present. They showed him possibilities, versions of events that never happened. Him staying behind, Anya leaving, their parents alive. Each vision tempted him, and slowly he realized the truth. Elowyn wasn't haunted, it was hungry. It fed on memory, on regret, on what might have been. And Silas, carrying the shard of the mirror house, had become its next conduit. He had to make a choice, hold on to the fragment and let Elowyn feed through him, or return to the forest and find a way to destroy it. He chose the forest. The second time he entered Elowyn, it felt different. The trees leaned closer. The air tasted metallic. At the center again, where the mirror house had stood, he found a tree made of glass, branches like blades, leaves like whispers. The shard in his hand pulsed, guiding him to its roots. There he found Anya's journal, scorched but legible. The final entry: "To end it, you must give it what it fears. Truth, not memory, not fantasy. The truth of what happened here." Silas placed the shard at the base of the tree, and he spoke. He told the forest everything, how he blamed himself for not coming sooner, how Anya was right, how he wanted the mirrors to lie. But now, he's wanted the truth. The tree cracked, the forest screamed, and then silence. Silas awoke outside the forest. The shard was gone. No mirrors reflected anything but reality now. No more visions. No more voices. Anya's body was never found, but her journal stayed with him. On the last page was a line he hadn't noticed before. "If you hear me again, it means you've forgotten. Again, don't trust the mirrors. They lie. But the truth is what sets you free." He keeps the journal by his bed, and sometimes at midnight, the phone rings once. But he doesn't answer.